Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. On Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the widest array of content here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes are available. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media. No, it's not Clydesdale Media. It's Two Dudes. Two Dudes movie review because nobody is helping us out with the new title.
But we are part of Clydesdale Media.
We are part of Clydesdale Media. We are presented by Clydesdale Media.
There you go.
There we are. All official and everything. What's up, Damien? So today's topic is top. We both have long lists. It was supposed to be top 5. It's grown exponentially because, one, I will admit I am a rom-com fan. I enjoy them to get myself away from the stresses of life and just a feel-good rom-com. So my list is at 20. Where are you at, Charlie?
Probably also 20. But then there's like categories of it, which I was thinking about, because there's like comedy, but then there's some that are.
So this is like, I went out and researched to make sure I didn't forget anything, right? Because there's so many of them. And like on these lists, it kept coming up with Coming to America, which I've never, ever put in the rom-com category. But if I stop and think about it, it is trying to get with Lisa, right?
Yeah.
The whole time. Yeah. So I guess technically it is a rom-com, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time, which I've listed probably in the top 5 comedies of all time, but never in my rom-coms.
Right. So, and then like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's a comedy more than a rom-com, but he's still trying to get with Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Yeah. Philip Kelly loves some rom-coms. Jody, be careful with that driving. Keep those hands at 10 and 2. Make sure you get to that job site.
Don't let us shock you with some of our picks.
So do we want to do like just a quick top 10 and then we'll do like the honorable mention stuff afterwards?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. And then I was going to, before we got into that, is there anything you watched this week that you want to just recommend to anybody?
No, not this week.
So I've got one. And I think this will be like a recurring, instead of picking something to review, we'll just give our recommendations of something we saw that we thought was cool. And that is, I said it yesterday on the roundtable, Smartless. It's a documentary of Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. They do a podcast called Smartless. It's gotten wildly popular, so they took it on tour. One, we're podcasters, so it's cool to kind of see how the behind the scenes of all that went. 2, it's freaking hilarious. They bust balls so hard on each other. It made me jealous. I wanted to be a part of the group. So if you got some time, check out Smartless. It's a pretty good documentary. It gets a little tender in the middle of it with some family issues and things like that, and kind of how they support each other. But the busting balls is well worth the watching.
I saw the part where Kevin Hart was on there.
Drunk. And still really funny.
Still funny.
Yeah.
And they were right there with him, which is great.
Yeah. That was good stuff. Yeah, they do live shows with guests. So like Will Ferrell's on there, Kevin Hart, Bradley Cooper shows up for a bit. Conan O'Brien. Andy Richter. So it's great. It's great stuff. And their premise is one person books the guest and they don't tell the other two who the guest is going to be, so they can't prepare for the interview. So
you can
just
see
like
that they're actually like trying to figure out as they're going through the thing, through the like titles. They're like, who could this be?
Exactly. All right. So let's start with a top 10. I'm going to try to pull up some movie posters as we do this. So I'll let you, do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go ahead.
So I already mentioned this one because I didn't believe it was a rom-com. And then I kind of realized, yeah, it is. So my number 10 is one of the greatest comedies of all time, Coming to America. And I got the, I don't know what just happened there. Took it me to Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to try to blow it up. There it is. Coming to America. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, Samuel L. Jackson, one of his first ever movies, Louis Anderson. And it's all about Akeem trying to find a wife. And that's what it, so I guess it is a rom-com. We gotta go with that. So number 10, Coming to America.
Can't argue with that. I mean, other than the fact that it is a rom-com. So I'll just put Forgetting Sarah Marshall then, since we're doing kind of we're talking about comedies.
Yep. So I will pull that up.
Mila Kunis stepping out of the 70s show. You got Hawaii, which you can never go wrong with.
We forgot that what's his face was in it. This dude over here on the far right.
Yeah.
The English guy. Yeah.
Yes. Him. That guy.
Sure. Yeah. I forgot he was in this. Yeah. A great movie. It didn't make my top 10, I'll tell you that. But I did like it. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Jonah Hill with a great performance as well.
Yeah. Like bartender, hotel worker, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So cool. So that gets us through number 10. We'll try to go through these first few pretty fast.
Yeah.
Number 9 for me is Ben Affleck movie. And a young Liv Tyler. And this is probably more because
hopefully
of my
not
daughter.
Armageddon.
Probably more because of
Jersey
my daughter.
Girl.
Jersey Girl. Great movie about what do they call him? A marketing guy who rips on Will Smith, says he's never going to amount to anything but being the Fresh Prince. Loses his job because Will Smith goes huge. And then the movie comes to a climactic end as Ben Affleck is trying to get his job back in the marketing company. And he runs into Will Smith in the waiting room and they have a conversation. But Liv Tyler is awesome in this movie in more ways than one. So I'm going with number 9, Jersey Girl. Chapman, this is not action movies, dude. This is rom-coms. If you're here for Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Predator didn't make my list.
And I'm gonna go off of that last comment and go with 13 going on 30. Jennifer Garner. You can't go wrong with a body switch when someone acts like someone else.
Yeah, you gotta love the Freaky Friday.
Yes.
Done a million times in movies. Yeah, that's a great movie. And an awesome rendition of the Michael Jackson Thriller dance.
Mm-hmm. Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
It's just a good film.
before he was the Hulk.
Before, correct.
So yeah. And that is your number 9?
Yes.
All right. I might get some crap for this one. Because
Lies is not a rom-com.
I am betting that people think that this should be higher. Mine is How to Lose a Guy for 8. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. With Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. You can't beat this movie other than the 7 I have ahead of it.
I'm not even going to comment on this.
Because if I remember correctly, this is one of your faves.
Absolutely.
So I will leave it at that, and you can add the ice at the end of this.
Okay. So then I will go with, it's complicated. I'm going to go back a little bit. You've got a Steve Martin,
Alec Baldwin, Meryl Streep.
Baldwin.
Oh, what the heck just happened?
I still see it. It's good.
I see you do. I just can't see it to control it. But we'll get there.
You know, it's just a good old seeing some older folks having a little rom-com themselves. Steve Martin's great in it.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I considered it. It did not make my list.
It's between, see, for me, it was between this and the one with Jack Nicholson.
As good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
All right. So my number 7, another legendary rom-com that has gone down in the annals of history as one of the best, and that is Pretty. Richard Gere, Julia Roberts. They killed it right off the bat, and you can't beat those two for a rom-com. What was it? Julia Roberts had 80 some inches of therapy to wrap around Richard Gere in the bathtub.
Yes.
Yeah, that is my number 6.
Well,
Oh,
Philip.
Number seven.
My 7 is going to
be number 1. I'm telling you, it is so small in between my top 10. I mean, I've probably watched all of these movies no less than 10 times, and the number 1 movie no less than 100 times.
Yes, between 1 and 10 is very little room.
Yeah. So that's my number 7, Pretty Woman.
So my 7 is going to be Princess Bride.
You are a 13-year-old girl.
Hey. Carrie Elwes at his best. Little Andre the Giant.
Billy Crystal. Enormous Tits says that if Princess Bride isn't number 1, she'll be pissed. Well, I think she's going to be pissed. It was number 7.
There you go. Might be yours, though.
Maybe. So Princess Bride. Yeah, there was a lot of stars in that. What's the famous line? I am something Montoya.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. My number 6 is a classic called Blast from the Past. Alicia Silverstone and Brendan Fraser. Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek playing the parents. You can't beat it. It is Brendan Fraser lived in a fallout shelter for 30 years. learned all the manners of the 1950s and 60s, comes up from underground, and everybody thinks he's weird because he's just so nice. So yeah, Enormous Tit says, you killed my father, prepare to die. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, Blast from the Past was my number 6. I watch this movie all the time, can't get enough of it. And it is Alicia Silverstone at her prime.
Was that before she was Batgirl?
Probably right around
clearly,
the same time. Right around the same time. But after Clueless, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to say 10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things. Fantastic. Heath Ledger. And what's her name? Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Yep.
Third Rock.
Gabrielle Union as a supporting character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the kid from Third Rock, who went on G. Gordon Levitt.
G. Gordon Levitt.
Yeah.
This is where I learned the difference between modeling underwear and swimsuits.
Yes.
It's a different pose.
It is. Subtle difference.
Subtle difference. But if you're a professional, you know.
So anyway, that is your number 6. Your number 6. You know what's funny? My number 5. 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's probably the only thing we're going to be close on.
Yeah. My daughter and I watch this movie all the time. It is probably, I would bet, in her top 3, top 2, maybe even number 1. So we watch this all the time, and it definitely, Julia Stiles is amazing. Heath Ledger doing the Frankie Valli song in the football field is one of the best pieces of movie magic ever. So yeah, 10 Things I Hate About You, number 5 for me. You're up, number 5.
My 5th is going to be Friends with Benefits. The better version of the same movie.
Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake and Mila Kunis. I might have a Mila Kunis thing. I don't really know.
I'm getting it. Mila Kunis shows up in a couple of your movies so far.
But not to be confused with the exact same movie that her husband and what is her name? Natalie Portman were in. But
oh yeah. No Strings Attached.
No Strings Attached. This one's better.
Yeah. Yes. So Jake Chapman is telling Judy that you and I are both 13-year-old girls. That is true. Because in this day and age, we can be whatever we want to be. American Pie is number 2. You know, that's another one of those movies that I just couldn't put in the rom-com category. One of my favorite movies of all time is American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding. Those are freaking phenomenal movies, but I could not put it in the rom-com category. Judy Reed says Hope Floats. That doesn't make my list.
Mine either.
Philip Kelly says Friends with Benefits is good. Love When Her Mom says you keep bananas in the refrigerator. What are you, Puerto Rican?
Such a great, this random greatness.
And really one of Timberlake's early acting gigs, right?
Yep. Probably his only good movie he's been in.
The Social Network was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess so.
My number 4 is a bit older. Patrick Dempsey. Early Can't Buy Me Love. When Ronald becomes Donald and pays the hot cheerleader to make him over and gives her $1,000 to pay for a new suede jacket to be his girlfriend for a little bit and see if that can make him popular. And the science experiment works, and he becomes uber popular, only to have it thrown away when she calls him out on New Year's Eve, and he ends up having to sleep on the garage floor that night.
Later being remade by Nick Cannon.
I didn't even know that. I'm not a Nick Cannon fan.
I'm not as good of a movie, but same premise.
Gotcha. So that is my number 4, Can't Buy Me Love, 1987. I was 17 years old. I was closer to that 13-year-old mark. So what's your number? Where are we at? 4? Yep, 4.
So I'm going to go with The Best Man. Early Taye Diggs, Sanaa Lathan, Terrence Howard.
Yeah, after Hustle and Flow, Terrence Howard can do no other role that makes sense to me.
He basically plays the same character in all his movies, but when he was Brody, he was still doing the same character.
Gotcha. All right, The Best Man. And who is the best man?
Taye Diggs is the best man.
Okay. And
he goes through all the emotions. He slept with the bride when they were in college, but nobody knew, and then it came up, and it's a good roller coaster of emotions.
Philip Kelly is like throwing out some big ones, like Pretty in Pink, and he loves The Best Man. Judy Reed throws out 16 Candles. Philip Kelly says Taye Diggs was the trifling best man.
He was, but not really. But yes, it was before.
So my number 3 is 2 Weeks Notice. The movie there. 2 Weeks Notice. If you have Hugh Grant in your movie, you are automatically in the top 10. You're automatically in the top 10 of rom-coms. And then you add a Sandra Bullock. This was an amazing movie. I've watched this at least 50 times. Amazing movie. 2 Weeks Notice.
She's been on your list a couple times here.
Just you wait.
If the proposal's on here, we're really gonna have to have a conversation about your love for movies. Well, then my number 3 is going to be Hitch.
Number 3 is Hitch. That made my top 20. Did not make my top 10. So this is Will Smith pre-slap.
Full Will Smith charisma at his height. Little Kevin James doing Kevin James things.
The
girl from Transporter.
The allergy scene is the best. The Ellis Island piece is hilarious. When he finds
Eva Mendes.
Yes. And then the dance scene, him teaching Kevin James how to keep it in. You know. Keep it in here, not so much in here. You know. It's a great one.
Pizza they already.
All right. So now we're down to the top two. And you said we're going to have problems.
Are you serious? It is a good movie.
I love me some Ryan Reynolds, man. He carries the movie. Sandra Bullock is just eye candy, but Ryan Reynolds is the person who carries this movie.
I think Betty White carries the movie, but
okay. Craig T. Nelson, understated role as the evil father.
This stripper waiter.
Yes. Convenience store.
Convenience store.
Yes. Awesome. Proposal number 2 in my book. What do you got for number 2?
My number 2 is Crazy Stupid Love.
Wow. Good one.
Steve Carell. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. It's a good one. I considered. Didn't make my list.
David Lindhagen.
Emma Stone, Julianne Moore, Marissa Tomei.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, yes. Very cool. Philip Kelly, I was not a fan of Crazy Rich Asians. I only like one, and that is Judy Reed. Just saying.
If Magic Mike was a rom-com.
Yeah, I've never even seen Magic Mike.
Wait a minute. No, that's a problem. Don't watch the third one.
So now time for my number 1. It's been mentioned in the chat. The greatest rom-com of all time, seen at least 100 times. Notting Hill. Julia Roberts. And Hugh Grant. So many classic lines. The artistry of this movie is amazing. So this is my number 1, Notting Hill, without a doubt. I play the soundtrack just to annoy my family. When we're eating dinner sometimes, this is just my number 1. My best friend's wedding is trash. Nobody needs a psycho hanging out around the wedding. That just...
But that's what makes it comedy.
Nah. Nope.
I need the wedding planner as an honorable mention.
Well, you can add it as an honorable mention once you give me your number 1, and we can go for the rest of our list.
We had already talked about number 1, which is you went, I don't know where. That's right.
I already knew. Been around you too long. You are a How to Lose a Guy fan.
I mean, the Knicks game's great. The way she just turns it on and off. Best friends are great. There's no slow part of this movie. It's fantastic.
Jake Chapman adds, and by the way, Notting Hill is nothing like that film. Well, ruin it for me, Jake. I'm living in a dreamland.
What is Philip Kelly isn't? What are you talking about? Trash.
And Judy Reed does respond to my comment. She is the Crazy Rich Asian. Love you, Clydesdale Media Scott. Never even saw that movie. It's a good movie. I don't know why it got all the critical acclaim it did. But it was okay. How to Lose a Guy, though, that could have been anywhere from like 3 to 7 on my book.
What Women Want? Is that romantic comedy?
I don't know. It wasn't. What was that? Mel Gibson?
Yeah, Helen Hunt.
Back before he was canceled.
I mean, it's good. Again, it goes with when people act like other people.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. I just don't know if it's a rom-com. Alien Resurrection definitely isn't. Well, I guess romantic between Sigourney Weaver and the alien.
What Women Want is a really good movie. Again, it's probably just something I didn't think of as a rom-com. Thought of it more as a comedy.
Yes.
So, Forever Young. More romance than comedy in my book.
Sweet Home Alabama. We'll give that an honorable mention.
So what do you have in your other 10?
So that's now Jerry Maguire is one that's on the is it a romantic comedy? It has funny parts.
So I have it in my honorable mentions. But it's probably more the situation. That movie came out the month I got married to my wife.
Mm.
And it was one of the last things we did together before the wedding was to go see that movie. So more like life circumstances made it a rom-com for me.
Right.
So it is in my 18th spot. Judy says, Sweet Home Alabama, good one, Charlie.
That is a good one. Good Reese Witherspoon.
So I had The Cutting Edge. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Was it the hockey one?
Well, he was a hockey player. She was a figure skater. He becomes her pair's figure skater. D.B. Sweeney and Miora Kelly. That was the 1980s rom-com for me. I have that in the 11th spot.
Weird Science isn't a romantic comedy.
I would put that more comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly LeBrock and both of the teenage boys.
Just because you fell in love with Kelly LeBrock doesn't make it a romantic comedy.
I think we all fell in love with Kelly LeBrock. Judy Reed.
Judy, thank you.
Happy birthday to Charlie. You are so kind. Thank you,
So
Judy.
very kind. You got me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overdone.
I mean, isn't it basically the same movie as
Sleepless in Seattle, which is something else, and kind of overdone. Disappointed neither of us had Bros on the
list. Only because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I haven't either. I thought I had, and then I guess I hadn't. But have we seen Four Weddings and a Funeral? I did way back in the day. I saw Bridget Jones. Jake, you're bringing in all the European stuff. I know that's where you're from, but I'll give you one. My number 12 was Love Actually. Another Hugh Grant. That is every Christmas Eve movie for me and my family. We watch it every year. It's amazing.
Four Christmases is one that was on my list.
And then 13 is another Christmas-y movie for me. Oh, what was that? Four Christmases?
Four Christmases, yes.
That's a pretty good movie. I don't know if I'd put it in the rom-com family, but that's really funny. When he goes back to visit his brothers
and just destroy him.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Octagon, son.
Jake Chapman says over in Europe they invented romance and then they killed it. Do you have any more, Charlie, or do you want me to go through my list?
Actually, three of them just popped up. Knocked Up and Bridesmaids, I'm on the fence on. I don't know if it was comedy only. And Roxanne with Steve Martin is a great movie.
Man, I forgot about Roxanne. That's a great movie.
I don't know if just because he has a big nose it's a problem, but you know.
But there's some great comedic parts because of that nose.
Yes.
At 13 I had The Holiday. Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jack Black, Jude Law. That was pretty awesome. And then number 14, Leap Year, where she goes to Ireland to propose to her boyfriend because on leap year the female can do it. Got to have that for DEI purposes. And yeah, Jake, Sevi could play Roxanne. 15, I had Hitch. 16, Your Place or Mine was my one like modern rom-com that I put on there, which is Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon. Just came out on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's quality, pretty good. And then number 17 is With Honors, Brendan Fraser and Miora Kelly, with Joe Pesci as the homeless person that they take in. 18, I had Jerry Maguire. And then 19 was like one that was just really underrated and I enjoy immensely. And it's called Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. If you've not seen that, you need to go check it out. It is Michael Cera and Kat Dennings. And it is really, really good. And then my last one at number 20 was New in Town with Harry Connick Jr. and Renee Zellweger.
I haven't seen that one.
That's a good one.
Gerard Butler. You talking about 300?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
With the blonde girl.
Yeah. That was on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, it's a pretty good one. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, my wife watches that all the time. I'm a little over My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but it's a really good movie. So I got to give you credit on that one. It's just my wife has done it for me.
Jake's probably talking about P.S. I Love You because he likes violence, apparently. He dies.
P.S. I Love You?
It's got Gerard Butler in it for like 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that one. P.S. I Love You. That was a good movie.
It's just not funny.
No. It's her being sad the whole one.
Yeah. And Negan coming in and acting like a weirdo.
Yeah, P.S. I Love You. Here's we'll share that just so people know. Hilary Swank, Gerard Butler.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in another one with, why can't I remember her name?
It starts with a K. Which actually she's in a good one with Josh Duhamel.
Yeah, I actually had that on my list. Life as We Know It.
Yes.
Yeah, I took it off at the end to fit something else on. What was it? Is it Kate? Katherine Heigl.
Yes. Katherine Heigl.
It is The Ugly Truth.
Is not on the list.
Ugly Truth. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Not 27 Dresses.
No. And then that one is Life as We Know It.
Yes.
Where their friends die in a violent car accident. So it'd be right up Jake's alley.
Right, Jake's alley.
And then they have to adopt the kid, even though they're not together.
So with the wedding planner, because she almost gets hit by a car.
Yeah. Well,
and they break the statue of David. There's violence there.
You know what's a great one that I didn't think of until just now? When in Rome, Josh Duhamel and Kristen Bell, where they throw the coins in the fountain, and they fall in love with her, and that's Will Arnett. to tie back to the recommendation I made earlier in the show. That's a really good one too that I forgot all about, or I would have put that one on my list as well. When in Rome, that's a good one. Dak Shepard is in that as the artist.
That's the artist. Yeah.
Judy's saying we should do a top 5 or top 10 episodes off of The Office or some other popular TV series. It's a great idea. We can do that.
Do you go comedy? Do you go drama? Do you just go whatever?
This show can go on for a while. We can do one of each, Charlie. We're,
that's true.
We can live on the edge.
That's right. It's our show.
Yeah.
2 dudes until it changes.
Yeah. My wife made me watch Heartbreak Kid the other day.
Shawn Michaels? It's a good documentary.
Yeah, my wife made me watch the wrestling documentary.
Surprised she's into that, but all right.
It's a Ben Stiller movie.
Yeah,
where he gets married quickly and ends up falling in love with somebody else. It's a crazy movie. Definitely did not make my list, but she made me watch it just like a week or 2 ago. So I'm just throwing it out there. The HBK. Yeah, we should do something wrestling.
Oh, I'm all about that.
We were both a child of the WWF, which later became the WWE. Yeah, we can definitely do that for 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Top 5 wrestlers of all time. We can even do eras. The glam era of the 80s into what do they call the 90s with Stone Cold and The Rock and all that. The Attitude Era. Yeah, D-Generation X. Yeah.
True Lies is a great, not a rom-com. Great movie.
I think we're definitely going to do like a top 5 Arnold movies. For sure.
Oof, that's tough. Does that
mean
Conan is?
Maybe we'll do top 5 Stallone and top 5 Arnold in the same episode.
That's like, you can't say, it's like saying Conan is a rom-com because him and Grace Jones did some things.
Now, let's be honest. The star of the Conan and then on to Red Sonja was Bridget Nielsen before she was Drago's wife.
Mm-hmm.
That was quality theater back in the day.
One I just thought about, I can't believe I didn't think about it, is Boomerang.
Yeah, that's a good Grace Jones.
Grace Jones. And that guy's the other guy, the bald guy. I can't think of his name.
Yeah. He was the 7-Up commercial back in the 80s.
Yes. It's marvelous.
It's marvelous.
Steel vagina. Marvelous.
That's a great one. Sonja. Yes. Red Sonja. She was amazing.
Yes.
Anything else?
Crocodile Dundee.
Come on. Now we're reaching.
Now we're really reaching. Although Margot Robbie's in the new one.
I don't think I ever went back to watch the new one.
Did it come out already?
Oh, there's going to be another one?
I thought there was.
There was like 1 and 2 back in the day, and then he came back with like a new one maybe 10 years ago. But there's another one coming.
But he's not in it.
Oh.
He's supposed to be his son, who's the Eastbound and Down guy.
And he's Australian, or he's American and Margot Robbie is the Australian.
She is the Australian. He is American because his mom is obviously the one from America.
Danny McBride.
Yes.
Okay.
And Chris Hemsworth's in it.
Okay. Well,
Hulk Hogan's brother. Bruce Beefcake.
No, he's saying that Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee,
Oh,
Paul
yeah.
Hogan's brother.
It's true. Just without the roids.
Yeah. They're actually the same person without the vitamins.
Saying your prayers.
26-inch pythons. Yeah. I can't believe Judy dropped to Jake the Snake. Judy surprises me so much in the comments. She is the most underrated commenter in the CrossFit space. She drops bombs, man.
I'll tell you what, though, that Jake the Snake documentary is rough.
It is real rough. Yeah, that one. Whew, that dude lived a hard life.
He lived a real hard life. But he was a great wrestler.
Eric License read that wrong. Thought it was top 5 moms of all time.
I'll put Mila Kunis in there.
Oh man,
Killing me, man.
Stifler's mom. Stifler's mom would be number 1. Greatest mom of all time.
Or Stacy's mom, I guess.
I got to go with Stifler's mom, man.
Stacy's has got to go on.
Well, Stifler's mom took that little bit role and parlayed that into a massive
entire career.
Right. And now getting critical acclaim on The White Lotus.
This is a great show.
I've never seen it.
I would recommend you watching it.
So, well, I will. I'll try to watch it at some point. My wife watches it and has watched it, but this podcast thing has me a little busy. So my TV watching has gone way down. Usually what I do is I throw a movie on that I've seen before so I can come in and out of it and not be lost. And speaking of one of your 13 going on 30, I've started watching Alias. Gone back to watch.
Oh yeah.
Because Disney just brought that out on Disney Plus. Dude, that show holds up today. And Jennifer Garner kicks some ass in that show.
Yeah. That's what made her Electra.
Yeah. Jake Chapman says top 3 C4 flavors.
Never frozen bombsicle.
I like frozen bomb. There isn't one I don't like, but I'd probably have to go 1 Sour Batch Bros, 2 Midnight Cherry, 3 Strawberry Starburst.
I don't know. That Arctic cone is delicious.
Right now I'm doing the Purple Frost.
That one's also good.
It is good. But again, it's like our top 5 rom-coms or top 10 rom-coms. There's such little gaps between them. Jake, that Midnight Cherry is freaking amazing. And we have a hard time getting it. And they sponsor the show. That's a tough one for us to get our hands on. Elise is with 6 kids in a museum. Lord be with her.
You need 2, not 1.
Yeah. You need to stone cold those babies.
Right. Sure.
You would think they could make more, but for some reason, Midnight Cherry we cannot get our hands on. There's a couple of the flavors that are just really hard for us to even get. I don't know what that means, Philip Kelly. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what stores
I
you're
don't
going
want
to.
to. I don't want to get demonetized. Is that what it's called? Yeah, there we go.
Demonetized. We'll have to talk off air about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she survived the museum. Now she's going to head to get a C4 as recovery.
Hopefully from your house, because you use the Clydesdale discount to get all your C4 goods.
Exactly. Or went to our landing page and ordered there to get that 20% discount. Well, with that, we have killed the rom-com movies for the last 50 minutes. I think we have said enough. Top 3 Limp Bizkit songs. No, there aren't 3. Well, with that, guys, thank you for being so active in the chat. It was awesome today. Happy birthday to my man, Charlie. You do anything cool tonight?
I doubt it. Not when you're at this age. You just happy.
You're gonna stone cold 2 C4s just to get through the night with the kids.
Just to get through the night.
All right, man. With that, we will see everybody later next time on. Well, next week we're not going to be on. We're going to be in Madison, so we won't be able to do a show. But when we get back from Madison, we will start up again with a cool list. See you all next time on Two Dudes Movie Review. Later, guys.